The Denver Nuggets beat the Golden State Warriors in honestly one of the best games of the season. You want to talk about grit, you want to talk about heart, you want to talk about hustle, you want to talk about doing anything and everything to try to earn a victory. That is what the Denver Nuggets did. Y'all, we got so much to get into, so much to talk about it. Y'all know what time it is. This is Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome into Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day, y'all, and I cannot wait to get into today's episode, y'all. Today's episode is brought to you by Prizepicks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prizepicks, run your game. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the show. Man, I am so glad to be here with y'all today, man. This has been a doozy of a day so far. So many things going on, but y'all, I have been trying to get here to do this episode with you because I have honestly been a buzz since the game last night. This was probably one of the best statements that the Denver Nuggets could have made at this point in time in the season. And it's not even necessarily about the fact that they won. That's obviously a really big deal. But what you saw was Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Russell Westbrook, Peyton Watson. You got a chance to see players off the bench like Spencer Jones contribute in some really important ways versus a team that's been hotter than the sun lately in the Golden State Warriors. And I want to remind people, since Golden State got Jimmy Butler, they have lost one game. Steph Curry has been a different player since Jimmy Butler entered the lineup for that team. And so the Nuggets, they had a true test on their hand. They had a test of will with no Jokic and no Jamal Murray and no Christian Braun, and they showed that they had everything that they needed, and they passed that test in flying colors. Y'all, the Denver Nuggets won yesterday, 114-105. And one of my first takeaways from last night's game, thank goodness for Aaron Gordon. Thank goodness for Aaron Gordon. Now, Aaron Gordon has missed 29 games this year, and I would have the feeling that the reason why the season has looked the way it's looked, the reason why the team hasn't looked as good as we hoped they would, is because Aaron Gordon either hasn't been there or hasn't been healthy. And Aaron Gordon is, without the shadow of doubt, one of the two most important defenders on the team. And now there's an argument that Aaron Gordon is the first best defender and most important defender on the roster. And without him, the Nuggets have just not looked like a team that quite has the defensive ceiling, the switchability, the aggression, the interior presence. They just don't have the players on the roster outside of him. And one of the other things about this too that makes it such a big deal. Now, people look at like OKC, they have like tremendous depth. And so they're able to fortify Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because without Chet, they can make substitutions. Without Caruso, they can make substitutions. Without J-Dub, they got players they can go to. And again, a lot of that is building a really healthy farm system and drafting well, developing talent, and acquiring talent. But the thing with the Nuggets is because they're a little bit further along in their own development, they have four guys that are basically making all of the money for this roster. Jokic, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and Aaron Gordon. And in order for the Nuggets to be the very best version of themselves, Aaron Gordon has to be healthy and has to be able to play at the level that not just the Nuggets expect him to, but that they know he can play at. And when he's able to do that, he gives them a different kind of dynamic that they truly don't have anywhere else on the roster. So much so that when Aaron Gordon is in the game this year, the Nuggets have been able to maintain a quality defensive look. The Nuggets have been able to maintain a player that is just able to get other people open as a passer. He can be a great rebounder, especially on the offensive glass. Aaron Gordon this season averaging 13.8 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 3 assists. on 27 minutes a game. He hasn't been able to give a lot of the same level of involvement because he's been injured so much this year. And when he's come back, he's had to learn how to manage the injury. But yesterday, Aaron Gordon, 37 minutes, 38 points, 6 rebounds. And again, maybe the most important development for Aaron Gordon this year is the three-point shot. Do y'all realize that on the season, Aaron Gordon is shooting 45.7% from the three-point line? That's amazing. And given the fact that the Nuggets have less spacing than they've ever had, because no KCP, Christian Braun's on the roster, and teams don't guard Christian like a three-point shooter. Russell Westbrook, as good as even he was yesterday, teams are not guarding Russell Westbrook as a three-point shooter. And they don't have, outside of Murray, Jokic, and Porter, they don't have players that are bending the defense to flex towards the three-point line on a consistent basis. And so Aaron Gordon developing that shot where he can get into a corner and truly make you pay, and getting you into a point as a pull-up shooter where he can truly make you pay. It has become a sick development for this team. Do y'all realize that Aaron Gordon this year is shooting 48% on left corner threes, 60% on right corner threes, 42% on the right wing three-point shot above the break, 47% on the left wing three-point shot above the break. And then around the rim, Aaron Gordon within the paint area, he's shooting 57.8%, and that's going up more and more as he gets healthy. So that you have a three-point shooter that can score at that level and give you that kind of production, there's not words for it. So Aaron Gordon yesterday was able to take it to the Golden State Warriors, and they truly could not deal with him. So just an amazing performance from Aaron Gordon yesterday, made a big difference for how the team functioned. Russell Westbrook, y'all, you want to talk about a playmaking masterclass, 12 points, 12 rebounds, 16 assists for Russ. And honestly, it could have been even more because the Nuggets were just not making every single shot based off the passes he was throwing. Russell Westbrook giving you 16 assists, and again, he's your sixth best player on the roster. 42 minutes played for Russ at 36 years old. Again, Russ didn't shoot well, but his energy, his engagement, he gives the Nuggets a certain level of floor raising as a passer, as a playmaker, as a secondary ball handler they've never had. And because Russ has been there, the team has just truly been able to rely on the point guard to do things that Jokic typically would do when Jokic isn't there, when Jokic is on the bench, or even with Jokic in the game. And we found out very late, about an hour before the game, that Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray weren't going to play. So obviously this changed how the Golden State Warriors were going to defend the Denver Nuggets. And this easily could have been a game that the Nuggets decide we don't have our guys, we're missing our two best players. We simply are not going to be able to communicate and give the requisite effort that we need to give in order to win this ball game. And they didn't do that at all. And a lot of that is because of Russ. A lot of that is because of Aaron Gordon. But some of that, too, is because of Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. And he was a game-high plus 20. Y'all, when the three of them were on the court yesterday, they were blitzing the Golden State Warriors. Like on the court yesterday, listen to this. Russell Westbrook, 106.5 defensive rating. That's elite. Aaron Gordon, 102.4 defensive rating. That's elite. Michael Porter Jr., 40 minutes played, plus 18.6 net rating last night. They had a 91.1 defensive rating when Michael Porter Jr. was on the court. But why? Why? When the Nuggets are playing engaged and when the Nuggets are able to commit to throwing bodies at players on the perimeter and working hard behind those players to not get beat on back cuts repeatedly, to not get beat on backdoor screens repeatedly, when all that stuff is happening at a high level, they're a different level of defensive team. And last night, Michael Porter had a few possessions that he did not play good defense on. There was one in particular where he was supposed to go get Draymond Green in transition. Draymond sets a screen for Steph Curry, and Steph gets basically a wide open three that Aaron Gordon is late to close out on. Now, some of that is just because Porter sometimes, his awareness, it isn't where it needs to be. But for yesterday, for Porter to play as many minutes as he did, and they had a 91.1 defensive rating with him on the court, even if he's not known as a defensive anchor. He played really well on the ball yesterday. That is important. He was able to help contain drives yesterday. That is important. And when you do that, the Denver Nuggets are simply just a different team. Now, on the other side, we're going to talk a little bit more about the rest of the team and what made last night so special for the Nuggets. But we're also going to talk about the youth movement. Spencer Jones, out of nowhere, looks like he might be a player that could play down the stretch of the rest of the season. We'll talk about all that and more here at Locked On Nuggets. When it comes to grocery shopping and meal planning, I've had this ongoing problem. I just don't have the time. Between work, life, and trying to eat healthier, I was constantly feeling stressed out, and I'd go to the grocery store, buy things I didn't need, and then end up with no time to actually cook. And sticking to my health goals, that was a struggle too. But everything changed when I discovered Hungryroot. Honestly, it's been a game changer. It's the easiest way to eat healthy without all the stress. With Hungryroot, it's like having a personal shopper and a nutritionist all in one. They take care of my grocery shopping, recommending meals and groceries based on my taste and health goals, from anti-inflammatory to high protein and gluten-free options. And the best part, every meal is ready in 15 minutes or less. I'm talking quick, healthy meals that actually taste great, all delivered straight to my door. It's been a huge time saver. It has made eating healthy so much simpler. You're going to love Hungryroot as much as I do. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box and a free item every box for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA and use code LockedOnNBA. That's hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA, code LockedOnNBA, to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. Hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA, code LockedOnNBA. Don't miss out. We'll be right back for more here on Locked On Nuggets. We are back here for a second segment of Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Wiper. This is your team every day. Y'all, make sure we're creeping closer to 10,000 subscribers. Think about how much we've grown this year. Go ahead, y'all. Give us a like, share, and subscribe. We're getting to 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Maybe a title run on the way. And if you're listening to this on any audio platform, give us a 5-star review. That way more and more people can listen to the great work being done here at Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, the team performed excellent yesterday. Michael Porter Jr., Russell Westbrook, Aaron Gordon, they played really good games last night, and they made everything work really well defensively. But y'all, Peyton Watson, man. Peyton Watson got the start last night. He was a plus 14 in his minutes with 13 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 4 blocks. Now, Peyton didn't have the prettiest game offensively. He definitely has stuff he's still continuing to work on. He was only 2 of 6 from the free throw line. But for the fact that you get the kind of performance you get from Peyton Watson, that to me just allows for the Nuggets' ceiling to continue to rise so much. Because this year has been a testament that when the Nuggets need defenders, when the Nuggets need players that can get stopped, when the Nuggets need players to execute their scheme, they've had a shortage. And some of this is because Peyton Watson's been out of the lineup. And when Peyton Watson is there and he's healthy, look, man, y'all remember that stretch that Peyton Watson had this year when Aaron Gordon was out? He had to start at the 4. The Nuggets look good. Peyton looked like a confident shooter. Peyton looked like a player that is going to contribute at a high level. And he hasn't played as well since, but he also has gotten hurt. And so I think hopefully as the rest of the season goes on for this last month, basically, I hope he finds his shot. He finds more that he can do offensively to really continue to help this team, especially in transition. But, y'all, it's his defense that's going to be the thing that truly makes or break the Nuggets. And a lot of this year, y'all, has just come down to effort. The team has felt like they have been just run into the ground, and especially Nikola Jokic. And Jokic hasn't been as good defensively as he should be. And I think a lot of that is just because I think the effort he's had to put out. It's just something that he feels like he physically cannot do on both ends every single possession. And again, Jokic touches the ball more than anybody in the league. He passes the ball more than anybody else in the league. And I think that wears on him. And he's dealing with elbow injuries and ankle injuries. So what is another way that you can protect him and fortify him and help them? It's by getting Peyton Watson on the court. So honestly, man, like, I love the way Peyton played. He continues to swat Steph Curry at the rim. Like, for whatever reason, when he sees Steph, he feels like somebody that he needs to continue to go out and attack. And so he honestly did a really, really great job of that last night. So that was the fourth. Hunter Tyson got to start again as well. He had 9 points. He actually had 2 steals in this game. His rotations weak side were also really good. And I want also people to know this. So from a defensive rating standpoint, that was the Nuggets' 12th best defensive performance of the year this year. Now, the best defensive performance this year was when they had a 92.5 defensive rating versus Orlando. That was actually Orlando when they had Paulo, Franz, Cole Anthony, KCP, and Goga starting that game. And I believe this game, that was actually in Orlando. And really, like, they've had some really good performances. They had another game defensively where they played really well versus the Clippers this year. Had another one in Memphis. That was without Jokic. They had one versus Phoenix this year where they had a 96 defensive rating. That's when they blew them out of the water. Utah, 98 defensive rating versus Dallas earlier this year in 2025, a 99.5 defensive rating. That was when Russell Westbrook was starting for Aaron Gordon and Jokic and Murray and them were out there. And I think one of the things is too, y'all, like, they've shown they have the ability, but it's the consistency that they haven't shown. And I think that's what Nuggets fans are hoping for. I think that's what the team really is looking for, especially from Michael Malone. And I think yesterday to switch all defense, I think it invigorated the team. Now, again, some of this was because the Golden State Warriors are missing jumpers. They couldn't hit a 3 to save their life. It was bad. It wasn't good. I mean, honestly, this was probably Steph Curry's worst game of the year. 6 of 21 for Steph. And on top of that, he has 7 turnovers in this game. But I think something of note, y'all, that y'all might want to consider. So Steph Curry, obviously one of the best shot makers in the league. He's been able just to create space, unlike a lot of guards. He has a really nice ball handling. He's a good passer. Steph Curry is arguably one of the 10 best players ever. But if you look at Steph Curry, since the 2023 season versus Denver, do y'all know Steph Curry is 0-9 versus the Denver Nuggets? And in the last 2 years, Steph Curry is averaging, or 3 years, last 3 years, Steph Curry is averaging 24 points per game, 31% from 3 on 12 attempts. And he has a 52 true shooting. 24 points a game, 31% from the three-point line, 37% from the field, and a 52 true shooting versus Denver. And that's including this year without KCP. I think one of the biggest reasons why Denver defends them so well is because of their size on the perimeter. And again, that goes from Murray to Russ to Braun to Watson to Porter and to Gordon. And especially because if they're playing at the level, Jokic is 7 feet tall. And when he crowds Steph Curry's space, that makes such a big difference in his ability to get a shot off. They have honestly guarded Steph Curry better than I would argue any team has. Now, yesterday, some of that was a little bit of shot variance, but they also just didn't give him a lot of open looks yesterday. And I think that's like an encouraging thing. How do they continue to bring this kind of defensive tenacity? Not just that they've had last night, but that they've shown at other points in time in the season versus Orlando, versus the Clippers, versus Memphis, versus Phoenix, versus Dallas, even y'all versus the Lakers in November, pre-Luka trade, obviously. Like, they've shown some really good defensive games, but y'all, it's getting the consistency is the problem. Getting the consistency to be of one mind, to move on one accord, to make sure you're making up for your brother's mistakes, to make sure that if you're helping in a rotation, you're not getting too far over to the left like Jamal Murray did versus the Wizards, or you're not playing too high up on a pick and roll coverage like Michael Porter Jr. did versus the Wizards on that last 3 that they made. It's just about the little things. And sure, when Murray and Jokic come back, they have to bring a level of energy that they need to have. But some of this is too like, yo, everybody has to do their job. And a lot of what's going to happen in the playoffs, y'all, it's going to come down to their ability to play up at the level, to play well behind the level, Aaron Gordon's health, and making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be. And if they do that, y'all, there might be something special on the way for this team. Now, that's a big if, but at least we've seen a little bit of the blueprint, y'all. So I'm excited. I think that last night's game should be really encouraging for people, especially given how they were able to perform and able to play last night. I think the team, they just looked like a good team, looked like a team that kind of knows what they're supposed to be doing. But we'll talk about more on the other side because, look, there's a dude that came off the bench yesterday that looked like he, maybe not now, but could be a player for this team in the near future. We'll talk about all that and more on the other side here at Locked On Nuggets. Basketball season is heating up, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prizepicks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With Prizepicks, you can pick more or less on at least 2-player projections for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. It's easy to use, available in over 30 states, and lets you mix and match projections across different sports. Now, building lineups this week, I'll select Luka Doncic for more than 25 points and Jason Tatum for more than 8 rebounds. It's quick and easy. Prizepicks makes it simple. You can set your lineup in less than 60 seconds and stay engaged all game long. And when you win, like I have, your money hits your account in as little as 15 minutes. No waiting around, y'all. I hit a big one on Prizepicks. I think I made $950 on Prizepicks, and I took a more or less on like a Denver Nuggets game, man. I was hitting on, and look, it worked out. So it's there. So download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prizepicks, run your game. Y'all, and shout out, man, bracket season is here, and here's a special video from Locked On NBA.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the bracket breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, final segment here. Let's talk about Spencer Jones. Did you see that? Did you see that coming from Spencer Jones? Vlatko had some really important minutes. You want to talk about an offensive rebound. Vlatko had an offensive rebound, y'all, that was over 3 Warriors and a putback in a clutch possession last night. Yo, Spencer Jones, y'all, came off the bench, 3 of 4 from the field, 6 points. Y'all, and if you even look at the baskets that he made yesterday per NBA.com, like that dude was catching some heaters. Russell Westbrook caught Spencer Jones on his first basket on a left-handed toss from the three-point line that Spencer was able to hit over a contested Golden State defense. There were 2 defenders down there, and he was still able to make the basket. Like, Spencer Jones showed a little bit of IQ yesterday. He showed the ability to be able to play off ball. Yo, even on a play, so 38-29 yesterday in the game in the second quarter, Spencer Jones goes to set a back screen for Aaron Gordon to see if Aaron Gordon can get a flare out to the right wing for an open three-point shot. Draymond Green is guarding Aaron Gordon. And then Spencer Jones being guarded by Steph Curry. So these are 2 veterans, 2 championship-level players that have won 4 rings and played versus a lot of different kinds of coverages. Spencer Jones yesterday goes to set the screen for Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon begins to move out of the way and float. Russell Westbrook has his eye on both players. Spencer very, very rightly reads that Draymond Green is not paying attention to him. Steph Curry is playing a little bit too off of him. And so what he does, instead of setting the screen, he fakes on the screen, Steph bites on the screen behind him, and then he immediately flares and just cuts right to the basket, and then Russ finds him for a nice layup. Y'all, that is IQ. That is thinking through the game. And some of the things that, like, for somebody who hasn't gotten real NBA minutes in a game that matter and who's been in the G League, for that player to be able to have that kind of foresight through a possession, I thought I was just like, okay, this might be a dude. Spencer Jones, this is with 55-46, a minute and 47 left in the second quarter. Spencer's guarding Steph in space at the top of the left side of the half court. Steph tries to basically get into a little action to maybe get into a screen. Spencer guards Steph, deflects the ball away on a pass. Russ steals the ball. Spencer takes off in transition and then scores the contested layup over Buddy Hield. So, y'all, the basket that he scored yesterday were back cuts off of Russell Westbrook plays, and then the next one was a transition stop on Steph Curry, and then a run out with Russ. Y'all, man, like, I honestly, when I watched that yesterday, I was just like, I can see it. I can understand that there's something there that he truly might be able to add to this team in the near future. And Spencer Jones also had like a really important offensive rebound yesterday. So what happened is, this is with 94-84 left in the fourth quarter. And there's a 94-84 score in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes and 34 seconds left. Spencer Jones, Jalen Pickett shoots the ball, or I think that Vlaco Chantar shoots the ball, misses. Spencer tips the ball out, left hand, fading out of the baseline. Jalen Pickett gets the ball, and then this is when Jalen Pickett barely grades the rim. But after this possession, the Nuggets get the ball back, and I believe they score. But the only reason they got this possession again is because Spencer Jones committed to getting the offensive rebound. Like, those are winning plays. So that's just 4 plays. 4 that I shared with you, in which Spencer made changes like to the game that deliberately helped the Nuggets to score points. Spencer was responsible for, just in those possessions, he was responsible for 4 baskets for the Denver Nuggets. And then Jones, he had an assist to off of a double underneath the basket out to Russell Westbrook, who hit his first 3 of the night on that possession. Like, these are winning plays. One of the things that I love about Jimmy Butler that I think you all got a chance to see yesterday. I mean, Jimmy, he filled up the box score a little bit yesterday as well. Jimmy had 23 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block. He was good. 8 of 16 from the field, 50%. Didn't make all of his free throws, which ended up costing him. Spencer made winning plays yesterday. The Nuggets made winning plays yesterday. Everybody that stepped on the court for the Nuggets yesterday made winning plays. Vlaco Chantar made winning plays in the offensive rebound. When Vlaco made his only 3 of the game, it was when Jalen Pickett drove to the basket. Vlaco rotated over the top of the key to the right wing. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. The Nuggets are winning 86-77. The Warriors were only had a 9-point lead over the Warriors. The Warriors were trying to surge and get momentum back, and there were 19 seconds on the clock. So they could have missed a shot, came back, hit a 3. It's a 6-point game going into the fourth quarter. Instead, Vlaco Chantar hits one of the most important buckets of the game. And it helps the Nuggets to extend the lead back to a double digit. And then Vlaco had 3 offensive rebounds yesterday as well. And then, like I said, that last one, Vlaco Chantar off of a Russell Westbrook missed 3. You got 3 Warriors under the basket. Vlaco gets an offensive rebound. He gets an offensive rebound, and he puts it back up over 3 Warriors and scores the bucket. Winning plays. So when you just think about what the Nuggets need going forward around Jokic and Murray and Porter and Gordon, is that. It's winning possessions, winning plays. And I think this is a positive sign of the future. Because if you can get Russell Westbrook, Zeke Naji, Peyton Watson, Christian Braun, and then if you have an additional player in there somehow, if you can just get enough winning plays from your role players, that is what actually helps you to go on title runs. It's not making spectacular plays that are meaning out of the ordinary. It's doing the right thing on a possessional basis and then helping to win that possession. I think that's one of the best things about golf. When you golf, it's about winning that tee. It's about landing on the green. And then from the green, it's about how can you execute and get the closest putt possible for a birdie or for par. Like a winning play is as good as, can you just make sure you're not just losing this possession? Even if you get scored on, are you making it difficult for the opponent? And that's what the Nuggets did yesterday. That's what Zeke Naji did yesterday. That's what Vlaco Chanchar did yesterday. That's what Peyton Watson did yesterday. That's what Spencer Jones, Jalen Pickett, Vlaco, Zeke, Hunter Tyson, that's what they did. And that allowed for Porter to have 21 and 10 and 5. That allowed for Aaron Gordon to have 38 points, 4 of 6 from 3. That allowed for Russ to have 16 assists yesterday. When I envision what this team could be, Jokic is the best player in the world. Murray is one of the best guards in the sport. He's been amazing for the last 45 games. 23 and 6 on 49, 42, 92 splits the last 45 games of the year. Can Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Christian Braun, Russell Westbrook, Zeke Naji, can they make enough winning plays that when the Nuggets need to get it done in the playoffs, can they make that happen? That's what it's going to come down to, especially on the defensive end. Aaron Gordon played his tail off yesterday. He fought. Russell Westbrook played his tail off yesterday. He fought. Michael Porter Jr. fought like crazy yesterday. And they won the game versus one of the hottest teams in the NBA and the second hottest team in the Western Conference behind the Wolves. That the takeaway should be they earned that victory. They earned their victory, and that could be a sign of the future to come for the Denver Nuggets. Y'all, let me know what you think in the comment section. What were your takeaways from last night's game versus the Golden State Warriors? How are you feeling going into tomorrow with an important matchup headed with the Lakers on Wednesday night? How do you feel about how Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson and Michael Porter, Russell Westbrook played? Y'all know what time it is, Swiping Gang. Y'all know what time to lock it on Nuggets community. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Y'all know. See you on the other side.